Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to Homecoming and Pumpkin Fest week at the Jungle. It is Friday, September 28th, 2018. Alongside Brian McPhee, Mr. Paul Zarate, I'm Dan Pelchat, Matt Boyer on camera. And we've got quite a showdown here tonight, and a special guest that I'd like to introduce coming in to join the broadcast team tonight. The voice of the South Lyon Lions on SLC TV for over 30 years, and former mayor, Mr. Ted Wallace. Come on in, buddy.
Thank you very much. And you're my former student, too.
That is
Remember
true.
that from
Absolutely.
second grade?
That's right.
Little recess football we did back then.
Yes, hey, I used to be good back then.
Yes,
True story.
yeah. He was as tall as the weeds in the yard there.
Yes, no, so, well, we wanted to thank you very much for coming back. Me and you have talked about this in the past, and it just happened to work out just right this week.
I'm happy to do this, and certainly you guys have been doing a great job to bring the Lions to everybody that really want to follow the Lions, and they should. They're doing well this year, it looks like.
Yes, they are. Well, they're off to a 5-0 start for the first time since 2014. And I did a little background check on this. I wanted to see what type of company our friends on the field were with tonight, and there's some big names on here. The 2006 team started 7-0, the 98 team 5-0, 96 9-0, 95 11-0, of course, the 92 team 7-0, and of course the 91 team also 11-0. So the boys are in good company here tonight.
Yes, they are, and with, again, the big crowd.
Yeah,
it's nice to see a big crowd for this game.
Yep. And in fact, I'm going to step out really quick now and jump back onto the PA, and I'm going to leave Mr. Ted Wallace here with Brian McPhee and Paul Zarate bringing you homecoming tonight here in the Jungle.
All right. Sounds great.
Brian.
Right, great.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great game.
Now we'll run into what are some expectations tonight, guys. We know that we're 5-0. What goes from here?
Paul and I were just talking a little bit before we got started here that this is a dangerous game. Walled Lake Central is 1-4. They've been getting a little better each week, building some confidence in that, and they got a chance to make the playoffs themselves if they win out.
Wow.
So they need to start that tonight. So they got a lot to play for out there. We have a lot to play for, so it should be a good game.
Paul, what can you follow on that?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot to play for tonight. Tonight's a big game for us to get to 6 wins. And because we got some really tough games coming up. You know, following this, we got Mott, we got Walled Lake Western, we got South Lyon East that's playing really good this year. So.
True. And again, there's a special. It's going to be. This is a poignant game for both teams tonight. They're putting in honor for a young man that went to school in South Lyon and Walled Lake Central. Was it Ryan Tanner?
It's Tanner Bryan, and they're gonna. You'll see the players have number 43 on there. That's what Tanner wore for Central, where he played for 2 years. He also played his freshman year here at South Lyon. He played in the Panther program, so players on both sides of the team know him. This will be an emotional game with that in mind. But I think once they snap the ball and get playing, as much as they have him in his mind, they're going to be back to football.
Well, he was a well-liked young man that died tragically, and I believe he was working on his car, and he had a problem. He perished from it, and that's unfortunate. It makes everybody think twice about what you do with your own car repairs.
Right. Well, and it keeps everything in perspective, too. I mean, at the end, this is high school football. We're out here to have a good time. The boys are out here to learn what it's like to be men, and our coaching staff does a good job of keeping that perspective for the boys. So.
Well, coming off a 1-8 season like the Lions are, this certainly shows proof to the pudding, that's for sure.
They've gotten a lot of press this week, some last week also with the big win that they had over Seaholm when they came in here with 2 undefeated teams. We emerged the victor. You know, the coaches, I'm sure, at practice this week had a tough time keeping them all focused, or maybe not. I'm sure they've had some good practices, just keeping going week to week. That's kind of been their motto this year. So we'll see how they do tonight. I think they'll do well.
Well, we're going to be having some pregame festivities coming up here in a moment, so we're going to go ahead and set it up for that. How's that sound?
That sounds good, and we'll be back for the kickoff in just a few moments.
Alrighty, thanks. Don't step on any ankles.
Chase them out of their circle. It's a good way to start the game, piss off the other team, the home team. Well, good evening, South Lyon, and welcome to the Jungle. We're about to kick off here with Central kicking off to the Lions. It's back to Michael Dancer, and he gets it at about the 15, out to the 35 to 40. He dances around to the 40, and down at the 35 of Walled Lake. Great return there.
The best thing you could hope for the Lions besides scoring on that one. That was a great run back and used his blockers as best he could to the till he got it to the inside the Walled Lake Central territory.
Oh, they're the Vikings.
So the Lions break out on offense with a great opportunity to get some points here early.
And they'll come out in the gun. Connor Fracassi at quarterback. Looks like he's got Ian Goins off to his left. And that's
looking to pass the ball. He's open and catches it. And he's going to take it all the way in for a South Lyon Lion touchdown. In the first 19 seconds of the game, the Lions have scored.
Great call by Coach there. He put Fracassi, got a little motion with the quarterback right away, pulled one of the guards, kept him out front, got good protection, able to deliver the ball right on the money.
And the Lions offense showing up real well here early.
He caught that between two defenders too and hung on to it.
Yeah, Brendan Locke's been a go-to receiver all year, and great set of hands and very athletic. He has some speed, as he showed there, getting in the end zone. This is Connor Harris on for the extra point. Somebody moved.
Procedure against the Lions.
Good to see Connor McCullum back out holding the holding duties. He took a pop last week against Milford and sat the rest of that game out, but good to see him back.
He drives it up, and it's good on that 25-yard extra point.
Extra points these days, one penalty, and next thing you know, you're kicking a long field goal. So the Lions go up as 7-0 here with just 11:41 left to go in the first quarter, and we'll be right back after this. And our touchdown scorer, Brendan Locke, kicks off.
It stayed in play. And taking them down around the 30-yard line. We'll see exactly where they put their foot, and it is right on the 30-yard line. And the Walled Lake Central Vikings will go on offense for the first time early here in this game.
Jake Blackburn on the return for the Vikings.
Central will start 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line.
And the Vikings come out in the gun.
Going around the far left side and getting some yardage. Scat back gets it up to around the 37-yard line, a 7-yard run by
C.J. Davison, number 28 for the Vikings, and he's been kind of the workhorse for them this year. The quarterback for the Vikings, number 2.
So 2nd and 3. Trying to get it in the middle, and I don't think they made it. They might have made it to the line of scrimmage. Looks like they did. It'll be 3rd and 3.
The Lions defense stood up there, Paul, huh?
Yeah, nothing doing there. Mitchell Hanna up the middle, had some help from the rest of the defensive line there, pushed them back.
Well, looks like a little motion on the part of the Vikings there. And they're going to call offside on the Lions.
Offsides against the Lions.
I didn't need that, giving them a first down. A game like this, you got to minimize penalties and turnovers.
Around the far side again, getting close to 5 yards, 4 yards maybe. The going around the left side again is they've been successful in this early part of the game for the Vikings.
Yeah, that's C.J. Davison. He's going to get a steady dose of him tonight.
I'm going to take that back. He didn't get it, but lost half yard. So many guys piled up there. That was quite a pushback with the Lions.
Yeah, as we've seen all year, Lions gang tackling, all hats to the ball. We got a little different look on the defense tonight from Coach Henson. Looks like they moved number 2, Michael Dancer, out to corner, and number 45, Darian Minerich, getting some time at outside linebacker.
It looks like there's been some kind of a penalty here. Well, there they go into Lion territory on a major penalty there.
Yeah, that's not a good way to start. The Lions need to settle down here and play the defense they've been playing all year.
That time they're going to get him for about a 3-yard loss. 28 was the...
Yep, Mitchell Hanna in there making the initial tack, and then a Pride Alliance coming in to help clean it up.
Brian, you pointed it out. They're working that left side, and they got a little bit of an unbalanced line going there. They got 4 guys to the left of the center on the left side.
I would think that the Vikings have pulled out some strings today on new strategies starting the season 1 and 4. They've virtually got to win the rest of the way to have a chance to maybe make the playoffs, so they're going all out tonight for sure.
They go in the wing, or the gun again. You got one split down to the right side.
It's coming this way. And he's going to be brought down near the original line of scrimmage. He got about 3 yards, and now there's a flag. And I want to believe that it might be against, well, he's pointing. Is he pointing against the Lions on that one? Let's see we'll have to wait and see what the call is. 7:57 left here in the first quarter. The South Lyon Lions leading 7-0 over the Wall Lake Central Vikings. Now we'll see what this call is. It looks like he's pacing the other way, hopefully. Personal foul against the Vikings. I did see a Lion getting up off the ground, face into the ground. So you would want to believe that that took place after the play. It should be third down. And now he's going to...
still second down.
No, he flipped it to 3.
Oh, there you go. I was looking at the scoreboard.
Because it happened after the play, is what I'm
Right.
saying. I don't see how you get to have another play that way. But anyways, third down and long.
There goes Davison.
Oh, he's
outside, and he's just
plowed under. Yep, looks like about a 3-yard loss on that play.
The Lions really read that one great and just swarmed to the ball like they've been doing all year.
Makes it 4th and about 28 for the Vikings, and of course they're going to have to punt, try to set the Lions back a little bit. What's his name again?
Michael Dancer.
Michael Dancer back to receive.
Number 2, Michael Dancer, been doing a good job at our kick return this year. And the Lions almost got to that one.
And they're going to opt to stay away from it. And they have it in good field position right around the 37-yard line of the Lions. Again, the Lions leading 7-0.
The Lions come out with trips to the left, I'm sorry.
Coming this way with it.
Goins.
He's going to cut in. He runs into his own player, but still manages to get around 7 yards.
Pretty good run there by Ian Goins and pretty good blocking up front there. Well, that line has been doing a much better job this year. Game to game, they seem to get better and better.
Yeah, Ted, I don't know. I think back in the day we had some really big linemen, and we could just, plow forward. Our linemen aren't big this year, but they're smart and they're very quick. So we move them around a lot. You can pull both the tackle and the guard and get them out front of those running backs.
And it looks like it's going to be enough on that play to get a first down. The one ref is marking it right at the 48-yard line. That's enough for a first.
And Nathan McMaster made a good catch and run after that. I think that's his first catch of the year. We hadn't called his number before, so.
He seems like a big boy.
Yeah, I think you're right, Brian. I think it's the first catch I've seen. Looks like some rain starting to come down now. At least we're inside tonight as opposed to last week out in the wind.
It's misty, won't be bad as long as they don't get poured on.
And it stops for the homecoming court to come out at halftime. Connor and the keeper. He's out about a 5-6 yard gain.
And now I'll take it almost to a 10-yard gain. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but when they were playing the South Lyon fight song, my mother and her sister wrote the song in 1943.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We're going to get some trivia up here tonight with the true voice of the Lions, Ted Wallace here helping us out tonight.
Well, they've stuck. It's of course it's an Illinois tune, but it's they wrote the words to it. Of course, my mother made sure I knew it.
Singing every night for supper, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, Lions on a second and short now. Right up the middle with it. A hole opened up, and the Lions are going to get another 5 or 6 yards in that carry by.
That was Ian Goins, number 5. He's running pretty strong there tonight. He's not the biggest guy, but he has got speed and he's got power. He runs downhill, and he's tough to bring down.
big crowd here on this homecoming night.
Ronnie Menard in motion. Fracassi hands off to Goins. Goins goes off tackle. And he's fighting, dragging the team there.
He's living up to how you coined him.
That was a perfect example right there of this line. That was number 62, Ryan Jarl, pulling from his left guard position, right out front, lead blocking, and Ian just followed him up the field.
You go ahead.
You say they kind of look like an amoeba out there with the running back getting behind the big guys and moving on down the field.
4:05 and running here in the first quarter. The Lions already leading 7-0. Quick pass to the right side. And it's going to be good enough for another 10, 12, 14-yard play. And it looks like the Lions are going to be close to 1st and goal.
And that was Brendan Locke again on that. And again, he did a pretty good job of gaining some yards on his own there with a few of the Vikings hanging on him.
Bringing it around. Santoni bringing it around and is knocked down around the 5-yard line, 4-yard line maybe. Be 2nd and 4 for a touchdown for the Lions.
Correction, that was Michael Dancer on the sweep. Here we go. Fracassi hands off to Jack Schaefer.
In the middle, and he's in for the touchdown. 2:29 left in the first quarter, and the Lions have just scored their 2nd touchdown.
And Jack Schaefer, just a power runner, did a great job following his blockers and making a little bit of a hole on his own as well.
I want some too.
Can I get some too? $5.
Up, and the Lions go in for a 2-point conversion, and that's going to make it 15-0.
Yeah, Brian, I think that was Mitch Camoris on the carry there, getting into the end zone.
Well, they ran that old swinging gate that we used to set up in Panthers and thought that's kind of goofy, it's never going to work, but we saw that work right there to perfection. So. All right, and here we go with the kickoff with Brendan Locke. And he puts a boot into that down to about the 20-yard line. And the Vikings take it to about the 23. Great tackle there by, looked like Jake Newman. Was that right? And here we go, the Vikings out of the gun. And it goes to Davison again, and he is just stuffed.
Lion defense is really gelling, it looks like. And after a tough first half last week against Milford, it sounded like the Lions suddenly exploded. offensively as well.
Talking to some of the coaches, the Lions had a pretty good practice this week. So they watch a lot of film. They know what Central does. And they're doing a great job of anticipating what they're doing.
Trying to get around the left side where it gets a little distance and then driven out of bounds. It will make it third down and about 8, 9.
That was number 7, Mitch Camoris, and number 30, Jesse Powell, chasing him out of bounds there. So, Ted, you got to see a lot of the great South Lyon teams and a lot of the great South Lyon coaches. So you were around for Coach Solosky, you were around for Coach Thomas.
Oh, yeah. 31 years worth. Early 80s till 2014 I did this routine. We did every game, home and away, and did not miss one.
Well, it's a pleasure having you up here. And here goes Bork, back to pass.
And that's knocked away.
Trying to get the number of who that was.
Jumping.
That's number 70, Gus Taylor.
Gus Taylor, the sophomore.
The big fella getting up.
Makes it 4th and long for the Vikings, and they're already trailing 15-0 here with 1:30 left in this first quarter here at the Jungle.
As Keith Jackson would say, the big sophomore. Got his mitts on that one.
Boy, you're dating yourself.
Oh, yeah. When the Vikings are going to punt. Jake Newman almost hit on that.
He's going to take it on the run. Get something out of nothing.
And that Michael Dancer is dangerous when he gets the ball. He just almost got into open space there, but he did a great job of feeling that on the bounce and then getting about a 15-yard return on it.
Ran a total of 40, but he did get it back about 15. That is a great run. So the Lions are in decent field position again. They've the 2 times had the ball. Well, they did punt 1 time, right? No, they didn't punt.
No, we have not punted yet. And time of possession is really in the Lions' favor, which is a great way to play defense with your offense.
Well, he kept the ball. It was either a missed handoff or it's best just hang on to it. And good thing they didn't fumble.
Yeah, he's got that zone read going on there. And that might not have looked like a really smart play for him to hang on to that. But when you got a defender closing on you like that, sometimes it's better to just tuck the ball, take whatever loss you got, and live for the next play. I think it was a good decision by Connor.
Lions crack out with a couple of split receivers on each side.
Cassie, handoff.
Right up the middle with it. And Goins is going to get a first down to the 48-yard lines. You know what? I was around for the great Billy Ray Porter, and he was a quick guy that could dance sideways, and that was a flash of that to me, I tell you.
Yeah, he's one of those that's in the Lions record books, Billy Porter.
Oh, yeah. When you have 2,200 yards rushing in 9 games, that's pretty good for high school, don't you think, with 12-minute running quarters?
That is, yeah. And those teams back then, I think he was on one that went to the Dome.
Oh, yeah.
Back then?
No, he was ahead of the Dome. It was McGuire and Watson's were the running backs back then.
Right.
They each had over 1,000 yards. Whoa.
And there goes Fracassi up the middle.
And that's a good 7.5 yards or so on that carry. And that ends the first quarter of action. That's been all South Lyon Lions as they lead Wall Lake Central 15-0. And the Lions are on the march again.
Second quarter, the Lions have the ball in the Viking territory.
Of course, going a different direction, and that should be an offside on their part.
Number 11 jumped for the Vikings.
A Lion did move, but only after that guy took a full step at him. That does give the Lions a first down at the 36-yard line of the Vikings.
And here goes Goins again. He gets to the outside. Got one man to beat. Oh.
He's brought down 8 yards past where he went out of play. But some people were yelling for a flag there, but it's exuberance.
Yeah, I think he pulled him down from behind a little bit. It didn't look like a real gracious tackle there, but he didn't have him up around the collar for a horse collar call, but he did drag him down from behind.
It was enough for a first down to the 17-yard line. Coming this way again. Going around, scooting to the corner, and he's in for the...
Schaefer in for the touchdown. Second of the night. Jack Schaefer showing a little speed there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say it again. This time they had both guards pulling. They had number 79, Jacob Klingler, and number 62, Ryan Jarl, pulling from their guard positions, getting out front, and letting Jack get to the corner. And then, like you said, Brian, he just uses speed to get past everybody.
With any running touchdown, you got to give your lineman credit for it.
Well, the Lions set up for the extra point. Last time did the fake and got the 2. I don't think they would do that now. No need. It's up, and it is good. That makes it 22-0. South Lyon over Wall Lake Central with 11:44 left in the half.
Brendan Locke with the kickoff.
It's going to take it at the 3. So opening up the middle, but not anymore. It's Swarmsville right at the 20-yard line. How many Lions can you point out on that one?
That was number 22, Jake Peary for Walled Lake Central on that return.
Ted is kind of like riding a bike, doing play-by-play in that, huh?
I haven't fallen off yet, I don't think.
Well, it's a pleasure having you up here. If you start reverting back to some of those names from the 90s, then we'll have to relieve you from the mic.
The meat eaters, and that's what we used to call the defense in those days. Holy mackerel. But I'm telling you what, I've seen a little evidence of that here, too. That's one of the few offensive forward plays for Wall Lake so far in this game.
Well, if you watch one of the early games for the Lions, ends were a weakness for us. So they may be trying to go back to that. As of late, the last few games, we've just stuffed the middle. We've gone up against some big running backs, and the Lions have just done a great job with their defense of swarming to the ball.
Whoa, in the backfield. Well, I'm surprised the whistle didn't blow sooner.
Yeah, Michael Gassner was right in there and made the initial stop.
That knocks him back almost 10 yards.
Well, we'll see where they mark the forward progress, but...
oh, really? All the way up there?
Like I said, they could have blown the whistle about 2 seconds after he handed off to him, so... We'll take it, 3rd and 9.
Walled Lake Central's got a new quarterback in there, number 7, Hayden Lane. Gives off to one of his backs, another loss. Looks like about a 5-yard loss there.
And not sure what happened to the starter, Bork.
It isn't like they've got a lot to exchange players with there. It looks like they only have about 24 or 5 players out there on the whole team. Fourth down, here comes the punt. The Lions kind of way back. And that's going to roll right inside the 50-yard line, where the Lions will take over on their own 48.
And the Lions had a full return set on there. They had 2 back, Michael Dancer and Jake Newman. Didn't put much of a rush on the kicker, but poor kick ended up right at midfield.
Lions in good field position again, as it has been since the beginning of the game. 9-11 left in this first half. The Lions leading 22-0, and on their 4th possession with the ball.
Connor Fracassi out of the gun. He's got Goins behind him. Hand off to Goins, and he's stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
We'll give him a 1.5 on that one.
It's the voice of experience there, being able to see the where the ref's going to put the ball.
Always look for the beanbag too. Always watch the ref who throws the beanbag, then you know where to measure from. It's almost a lateral, but he gets it out there. It's going to be taken down around the 40. Is that a face mask or a horse
Sure
collar?
looked like it. Looked like a face mask. The way Goins spun around like that with his helmet as a focal point.
And the flag flew from the far side.
The ref was looking right at it there and threw it.
It is a face mask. And is that automatic 15 still? Is that what they do in high school?
15 and first down.
Used to be the not on purpose one was 5, and then I don't know. Do they still do that?
They still have that.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Picasso looking to pass. He's got.
It's completed.
10.
It's going to be brought down inside the 10-yard line, but that play is good for a solid 15 yards.
Locke ran a good pattern there, got himself open. The Viking defender closed on him pretty quick, but great grab, and we got another first down.
Inside the 10-yard line, the Lions have been methodically just moving down the field, scoring. Lofts it to the corner, and he's going to get the call for the touchdown.
That was Brendan Locke in the corner, and Fracassi threw it right where only he could get it. Locke made a great move going up, making sure he came down with at least 1 foot in, and we got another touchdown.
You seem surprised.
Well, 3 possessions and 3 touchdowns. That's 4 now.
Yep.
Well executed play there. They had trips out to the left, and then they isolated Brendan on the short side here. And like you said, Brian, just threw it up where Brendan could go get it and use his athleticism.
Ball is placed, kick is up. And it's good. South Lyon leads 29-0. Wow.
And here we go. Brendan Locke with the long boot down to about the 4. Yes. Jake Perry on the return.
They get it to around the 23-yard line. I know Wall Lake got a first down on a penalty. Have they had any others?
Yeah, I believe they've had maybe 1 or 2. We don't have a statistician here with us, but they got across the 50 on penalties and a couple of good running plays by Davidson. But the Lions have, since that first drive, they've shut them down. This team's been good about keeping focused, not letting anything bad that happens really affect them. I mean, they just, they got perseverance out there.
Oh, the ball is on the ground, and so he'll have to cover it up there and lose almost 5 on that play.
The linebackers blitzing on that, and they got a little excited, and I think so.
No, he's on the sideline. He was number 7, wasn't he?
Yeah. The Bork's back in. Bobby Bork, the 6'3" senior. And they go under center. And they throw back to pass.
It's going to be intercepted. He's going to take it on in for the touchdown. Number 40.
And that's a new number for us. But I don't know if that was.
Well, he changed his mind, went the other way, and took it to the corner. We're sorry we can't give you a name at the moment. I'm sure we'll have to track it down. We'll get it for you in a moment. But the Lions have just scored.
Might have been Isaac Noe. Okay. Who's usually number 11. Yep, that's Isaac Noe on the pick 6. I know there's a happy family down in front of us that's just rooting that one on.
It's going to go across and be good. Wow, drama on that one. With 6:26 left in the second quarter, the South Lyon Lions are all over this one, 36-0.
If they were playing pinball, he'd have got an extra ball for that one.
You got the momentum with it. Everything just seems to go right, you know.
Wow, this is amazing performance. Again, Wall Lake Central has had a tough year going for them, but
they really have. They beat Milford, who we beat last week, and they had a tough game with the other Walled Lake schools. And now tonight they just haven't been able to put it together at all. But credit to the Lions for showing up defensively. I mean, they could have been nervous, anxious. They have just been every play spot on, doing what they need to do.
Well, not only that, Brian, it's execution. They've pretty much been mistake-free all night, right? And that's the key.
The first drive, they might have had a little bit of butterflies going, but since then it's been all Lions. And Locke with the kickoff.
Right at the 1. I noticed the Lions set up 4 defensive guys on this end of the string, and sure enough, Wally came around this way, and they were right there on top of him, took him down around the 16-yard line.
Yeah, I did. When I was walking in, I saw a guy.
Going deep around there. Oh, he's not going to get anywhere but down to the ground and lose about 5 yards. We don't have a stat man, but I bet you it's pretty close to negative yardage going on now for Wall Lake Central.
Number 64, Michael Gasner again in on that tackle. He's having a whale of a game. That front line's just getting a lot of penetration. All of them
just burrowing through there.
Well, we match up pretty well size-wise, with the exception of their center, who looks like an NFL player.
He's breaking around the right side. Still taking him a while to get him down. Looks like he's going to get their first down. What a run. Great run.
That was that C.J. Davison, and that was just a great individual effort there by him.
Well, that's the lesson. Don't get lazy. Start tackling high. If you saw that right, they're all grabbing them around the shoulders. Hard to bring any good player down that way.
Vikings 1st and 10 out of the gun. They hand off to Davison again, and he's met at the line of scrimmage there by a Pride Lions once again.
May have gotten a half yard.
That was Jesse Powell and Jack Schaefer there.
Second and 9. Low hike. He managed to hand it off, though, and he's running with it, not for a first down, to the Viking 42-yard line.
Paul, we saw that last week where what looked like a busted play turned into a big gainer. And C.J. Davison just took off tackle once he got the ball.
The Vikings putting together their best drive of the game. That wasn't penalty aided. 3:12 and counting here in the second quarter. The Lions with a 36-0 lead.
Bork back for the pass.
He's all open and he forgot to take the ball with him, and they're calling it incomplete.
It looked like he made a football move, but he was still bobbling the ball. So,
and
I think it was a good call.
It was a good call. The play they called. I mean, he was wide open. That makes it 2nd and 10. Number 70 comes in and try to plug up the middle. And it's Taylor.
Gus Taylor.
If I'm saying a number, it means you're supposed to be saying a name. He's back to pass.
Yep.
He's got him. It's going to be out of play.
And South Lyon High School is the Cougars 13, Waterford Mott 0.
Who was that?
Did you say 30 or 13?
3rd and 10.
The ball bounced off the ground. This time they're going to get him along the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they had that one snuffed out.
Number 28, C.J. Davidson.
Mitch Camoris had him in a full Nelson there, I think. A good wrestling hold to take him down.
It's going to make it 4th and 10, and 1:18-17 and counting. They may be just trying to eat up the clock as best they can. One minute left in the second quarter. They decided they're going to go for it. What do they got to lose? Now the Lions call a timeout.
Timeout on the field. South Lyon, their first.
He's going to be taken down for a loss at 32-yard line.
That was Jack Schaefer, middle linebacker, that busted through and sacked the quarterback.
First and 10, South Lyon.
Well, the Lions are going to have 41 seconds here. What are they going to do? Are they going to do something with it, or do you think they'll kneel?
They're going to run at least 2 plays to get it down under the 25 seconds, and they may just take a knee then. Or they'll take 2 knees. Yeah, they're going to just go into the locker room with a 36-point lead. And that's the end of the first half as the Lions up 36-0 to the Walled Lake Central Vikings. And what a first half we had here. The offense just clicking on all cylinders. The Lions defense, you could call 10 numbers almost on every tackle, and somebody had a piece of it. So
that was the first offensive series they didn't score on.
Right, exactly, and they got stopped by the clock.
And the clock is still running, but it's ticks off now, and that does end the first half. The South Lyon Lions on that 36-0 lead over the Walled Lake Central Vikings.
And just one other thing here is we would like to acknowledge Tanner Bryan, who they had a dedication to at the start of the game. A kid that played through the Panthers and for the South Lyon Lions his freshman year, and he also played for the Vikings and had a horrible accident that took his life. So we want to acknowledge him and give a shout out to the family there. Great family here, and all of our prayers for them. So with that, we've got homecoming court coming out, and we'll be back for the second half right after this. Welcome back, sports fans, and here Brendan Locke's going to kick off the start the second half. And we're going to have a running clock here at the start with the score 36-0 Lions. And the Vikings are tackled. That's number 20 with the carry right about the 21-yard line, 22-yard line. Dominic Santoni in on the tackle. That's all right. We have Ted Wallace, the voice of the Lions for 31 years. And how many games was that you had done?
302.
302 consecutive games. The true voice of the Lions. It's a pleasure to have him up here and hear some of the old stories and the old the history of South Lyon football and the successes they've had. Almost winning a state championship, losing by
double overtime.
Double overtime.
Yeah, 2 undefeated teams at that time. Well, Walled Lake Central is going to start out about the same way they've been going. Not to belittle them, it's just they've not been moving the ball very well. Did you get any stats in the half? We'll throw some out there.
Sure. Yeah, we talked about the defensive line and the job they're doing tonight. Jesse Powell in on 3 tackles, Michael Gassner 2, Mitch Hanna with 4, Gus Taylor in on 2 tackles, and Darian Minerich in on 2 tackles.
Ball's loose.
Popped loose. I got it.
They're digging down around, and they're finding it. Well, the Lions have the ball in their hands. What are they going to call? I don't think they know what they finally decided. They got.
The answer came up with it, and there was forever waiting for a whistle as they were wrestling around there for it, and I think it's going to be Lions ball.
At about the 29-yard line, and certainly not what Wall Lake had in mind to start their second half after all the chalkboard plans.
A few more stats for you, Ted. South Lyon, 104 rushing yards. Leading the way there was Ian Goins, 6 carries for 63 yards. Connor Fracassi, 5 for 6 passing for 79 yards. 4 of those going to Brendan Locke for 75 yards.
Goins with the ball. Gets close to what he's been averaging in the game, 10 yards a carry.
He's just a determined runner. Does a good job of protecting the ball.
We're on the right side. He's going to take it on in. Number 5 for the Lions.
So that was that buck play again that they've adopted from Clemson, where they're pulling both the guards. Ryan Jarl, our new homecoming king, out there leading the blocking way along with Jacob Klingler, making a hole for Ian Goins and a great run touchdown.
This is, I expected a good game, but I was not expecting this.
Well, last year, this was a really close game, and one that we thought we should have won, but I believe it went into overtime last year, Paul, and we had what we thought was a bad call, but Central walked away with the win, and maybe there's a little payback this year, huh?
So far, and the Lions did miss the extra point, but still are on an even 7-point march of 42-0.
And there we go with the kickoff, Brendan Locke. He's been busier as a kicker than he has as a receiver.
And that'll bring it back up. Now the clock, he's winding it. Now it should keep on running. Even though they got to chase the ball down and everything, it's a running clock because it's more than a 35-point margin in high school football. And they do the running clock in second half.
And Vikings come out in the gun. Baroque hands off to Davison again, and he's just met there with the pride of Lions going nowhere. I want to give a shout out to the freshmen that won last night against the Walled Lake Central freshmen.
Correction on that. They played the JV team. Freshmen played the JVs.
Well, I don't know where we heard that, but our JV played Chelsea, and they lost a tough one, 27-20. So.
And then our freshmen played the Walled Lake Central JVs.
Well, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I did look at
46-0.
The fact that they didn't have a JV team per se to play our JV. I looked at the roster here, and they got about 14, 15 sophomores on the varsity team. So very young team out here for the Vikings.
Well, they got a school district, they've split into 3 high schools. So, I mean, they're going through, of course, Wall Lake Western remains strong with their ability to somehow garner some players.
People just like that, you know, the school of choice. They must be the school of choice out there. So, well, we got 3rd down and 10 for the Vikings. They've not had any luck on this drive whatsoever. You got Davison in the backfield behind Bork, who goes under center. And he pitches to Davison, who goes out to the right side.
He's
maybe
quick,
a yard or two. What do you say there, Ted?
I'd say a couple yards, but he is making it 4th and 8 now. Will make it tough for Wall Lake to do anything but punt.
He is a quick runner, but this you look at who was out there on the tackle, Mitch Hanna, our nose guard. So that shows the defense just getting after it.
That's for sure. Whoa, it's a high one. It's over his head. Is he going to get it off? He's decided to run and kick it. And he'll get his best punt of the day out of it. And the Lions take over at the 38-yard line.
So the Lions are going to start doing a little substituting here. We got Connor McCullum, number 16, coming in at quarterback. And what a great game here in time to get some of these players some playing experience. With a 42-point lead, and we still have 4 minutes left in the third, and then the entire 4th quarter. So here we go with a new quarterback in Connor McCullum, number 16. And he hands off to number 4, Dominic Santoni, and he's down to the 10, the 5, and in for a touchdown. Well, even the second string's doing well.
That looked like Billy Ray all the way. That was my common call back in the day.
You called that a lot with Billy Porter running the ball.
But that was every bit as quick. And the Lions are just all over them. And like you said, it's not even first string doing it now. This is one of those games everybody's getting in.
Yeah, you know, in the first half, when you get a first half like that, you get a little worried to see what's going to happen coming out in the second half. And
they blocked that extra point. So it's 48-0 with 4:17 left in the third quarter. 48 South Lions and 0 for Wall Lake Central.
Brendan Locke with the kickoff duties, and he kicks it down. It's going to be in the end zone.
Automatically bring it back where Vikings were a few moments ago until they gave it up to the Lions, and the Lions was it 2 plays? Bing bong.
Yep.
And of course the clock just keeps on running with 3:50 left in the third quarter.
We got some new numbers going in on the defense too, so we'll do our best to pick up the new guys that are out there. Got number 20, Jack Mifsud at corner. Keegan McGrath at the other corner, number 10.
Gets about 5 yards on that carry. Big man can get around the corner there.
Knocked out of bounds by Brendan Dancer.
Got a timeout for an injury.
All right, it's second and about 6 for the Vikings. And it's
running 6 yards deep before he can head forward, and He's going to lose about that 6 they got back. Makes it 3rd and long.
That's number 23, Austin Trudell, getting in there on that tackle, getting some good playing time.
Vikings have changed up quarterbacks again, back to number 7, Hayden Lane.
It's always easy to armchair coach here. You kind of wonder if they got a screenplay in their playbook when you got the defensive line pinning their ears back and coming after you. Ooh.
It's knocked away. Great knockdown.
Yep.
Big number 70, Gus Taylor, getting that paw up in the air, knocking it out.
The pass was rushed due to Michael Dancer getting in there and rushing the passer.
4th down. Clock is ticked down to 1:25. We reiterate again that once there's a 35-point margin, the clock keeps running on everything. To the 41 or 42-yard line. Gone. South Lyon Lions 48, Walled Lake Central 0.
Chance. Hands off to Santoni again. He zigzags around the line of scrimmage and he's corralled there by a boatload of Vikings. How's that one?
Yeah, you shipped it in.
True professional here.
You know, he's going to come right back around with it. Maybe get back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd down. That's the first time I don't think the Lions been on 3rd down in more than once.
You know, this is kind of a tough position to get in. Second stringers come in. You got a big, huge lead. The team really doesn't want to run the score up and pass and everything. And Connor McCollum is a heck of a passer. He's just not going to get that chance here tonight with the score the way it is. So going to be a lot of handing off, and we'll see how they do here.
Right up the middle with it's going to be enough for a 1st down and more. Wow, to the 33-yard line.
Santoni just bounced around there and zigzagged his way right through all the Viking players and got himself about 20 yards on that carry.
Outside of near the beginning of the game, and the Lions had a couple penalties they shouldn't have had, as far as any coach would tell you. And I haven't seen a whole lot of penalties since.
Nope. It's been a pretty clean game on both sides of the ball. So you like to see that. But, again, the Lions are just running their...
just running there.
Yep. They're just having their way with this Vikings team. Santoni on the carry, right back, tackled at the line of scrimmage.
You don't see some of the bigger players out there for obvious reasons.
Well, and I think the Vikings have probably substituted in some of their players to get some experience.
They haven't had a lot to mix with.
No.
Going around the right side. Number 4.
It's Santoni again, and he's literally knocked down. Looks like he's going to be right about the, we'll call it the
26.
You know, you guys were mentioning the substitutions. I love to see this, right? You get a lot of the other players into play. The whole offensive line, except for Rendy, our center, is our substitutes in there. But the starters on the sideline, they're cheering them on. Every play, you know, they're yelling at them, yelling for them. Love to see it.
Why am I seeing smoke around?
They might not have done this back in the day, Ted, but there's a tradition now of some baby powder.
Oh, that's
This
going
is
on.
the student section.
Yeah.
Call it a whiteout. You don't want to be upwind of it, I'll tell you that.
Or down. Well, that's enough for a first down run.
7 minutes to go here in the game. And the Lions are just methodically going down the field with off-tackle running plays. Kind of reminds the old Panther days when you got a lead like this, you could only run between the tackles.
I was helping run a flag football league in South Lyon for 3 years before the Panther program started up. And I don't want to brag, but I had 3 different teams and then 3 different championships.
Hey, that's great. Then you get elected mayor. How long were you mayor?
Oh, 2 different centuries, 10 years. Actually, that was 1985 and 89, and then 09 to 15. Yeah, I was councilman too. A total of 24 years on council. People say, "You're going to go back?" And I don't think so. Not in social media era.
Now your old partner and our current partner, Dan Pelchat's the mayor of the city of South Lyon. So kind of a trend of the mayors being broadcasters, huh?
Yeah, got to do your football gig first.
Football's always come first in South Lyon, it seems like, for years.
Yep. Well, I was a graduate of South Lyon in 1970. And some noteworthy people. Dave Brandon was in my class. He was my locker partner in high school. He took us out to dinner one night to Washington, D.C.
There goes Santoni again up the middle.
To about the 7-yard line. He had
Talked about one of your other classmates, Larry Boyles, who's down on the sideline coaching.
I believe does he work with the freshman team or JV? Is it freshman?
He does. He works with the freshman team, but he's always up here on varsity helping out on the sidelines. I was commenting on him last week about, you know, his role as the coach psychologist. He keeps all the players in their right mind.
Oh, that's a good one for him.
Good man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here we go. We got 5 minutes to go, and the Lions are knocking on the door again. Santoni's caught from behind there.
At the 10-yard line. That play wasn't clean. It was slow on the handoff.
And it's why you like to see them getting this time. They get game condition experience, which is a lot different than practice.
I played a little football with Dave Brandon.
Where did he take you to dinner?
Washington, D.C.
Wasn't that nice?
Needless to say, we flew in a corporate jet. He had quite a run, CEO of Velasquez Inserts, and then he ran Domino's Pizza, and then he, of course, dropped it all to be the AD at Michigan, and then turned around and he was the CEO of Toys R Us. Of course, I think they brought him in to help him decide how they're going to go, and they're gone.
Well, I hope they didn't bring him in to grow it, because that didn't happen. And that's 44. Josh Shelton on the carry. That'll make it 3rd and goal.
3:35 and counting. in the game. Lions holding that 48-0 lead.
We got a little bit of rain early, right around halftime, but then it subsided, and we got a pretty good night out there right now. They're a little cool. Shelton again. He's knocked right down there by number 9 of the Vikings.
That'll make it 4th down.
Like I said, we had a pretty good crowd out here tonight, and most of them are still sticking around for the end of this game.
Actual time, it's only 8:50, so it's,
we'll be home early tonight.
Yes. Well, they're going to stop them short there with 2 minutes left in the game, but you can't say the Lions haven't been doing well, because in the last 2 games, they have scored 94 points.
Yeah, that was great. And here, you can't fault these kids out here. The defense knew what they were doing. They were running between the tackles, and they were just loading up the box, and it's kind of an unfair advantage. But great game here tonight by the Lions. Maybe they wanted to impress you, Ted. These youngins, you know, you haven't announced these kids' names before, so might have got them excited.
Yeah, the last time I did, they were probably 6th or 7th graders.
And so that clock running down to 1:26, and it looks like somebody's called
Wall Lake called the timeout.
No. Vikings handoff. They got a new running back out there, number 6. And he's down to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like he's. Now there's a late flag on it, which usually an indicator it's against the Lions.
Brady Clark, 6'2" sophomore.
I guess the clock stops on penalties.
Well, that was a huge play for the Vikings. Going from inside their own 5 all the way down to the Lions' 35.
They take him down there. And Wall Lake will call another timeout. No, the Lions. He's pointing at the Lions. Well, he pointed at the Lions, but it is Central, which makes sense.
Another handoff. They got Davison back in there now, and he's tackled. Oh, correction, that was number 20. Looked like a 28 from here, but Jalen Wise was the ball carrier. And 35 seconds to go.
Ball's on the ground for a second. He gets it away, and it's going to be deflected away. Now Wall Lake will call their final timeout.
Tegan McGrath back in coverage there. He did a great job of avoiding the, what do you call it, pass interference there. Thank you. Had something to interfere with my brainwaves there.
Yeah, I'm getting worried, Brian, when I can start finishing your sentences. I think we're spending a little too much time together.
No, Ted was here to separate us this week.
That's teamwork. You know, it works.
4th down to be the last play of the game.
And I would guess they're going to bomb it. It's over the middle, and it's going to be incomplete.
Oh, we got a defensive penalty.
So they're going to get one more play and mark it off 15 from there. And
Austin Trudell just a little anxious and aggressive there.
starts up again. They're not going to get this play off, I don't think. 3 seconds left. They better hurry.
They forgot it was a running clock.
And then the clock has run out. The game is over. The South Lyon Lions have defeated Wall Lake Central on this game played September 28th, 2018 by a score of 48-0.
We'll be back with our post-game comments and acknowledgement of our players of the game and that right after this.
All right, guys, and another big win for the Lions here in Week 6. They clinch a playoff spot, the quickest you can. Our final score here tonight, 48-0. Brian, what were your thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, you know, the first possession was a little scary. Yeah. We had a couple of penalties and that there, and then after that, they never looked back. I think they scored almost every possession they had. Even when we put the second string in there, I felt bad for Central. It was like, what the heck happened? They're a better team than they showed tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The Lions came out with confidence. They were focused. You can tell they weren't looking past this game at all, which was a great way to come out and attack it.
I agree. Paul, I'm going to come back to you here in a moment. Sure. So, Ted, how was it like back in the saddle here at the Jungle tonight?
Like old times. Yeah. From my experience of many years of watching Lion football, they definitely have a shot here to make a run, I think. Tenacious defense, just maulers. We'll call them the maulers, Lion maulers, because they were just mauling. 4 and 5, he was calling it right. They go right to the ball, and the helmets on the ball, and they were doing it.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for coming out and taking in homecoming with us tonight. It was nice to have you out here.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. And I'm waiting for his line here. He's got a great one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great information coming up here.
Let's take it over here to Mr. Paul Zarate. Paul, what were your thoughts on tonight's game and some of our bigger players tonight?
It was all execution tonight, right? I mean, yeah, like Brian said, we had a little problem out of the gate, but then after that, pretty flawless football. On defense, everybody to the ball. Yeah. On offense, all about execution, everybody doing their job. So if we want to get to the players of the game,
like you said, 11 hats to the ball all night.
Absolutely.
Mean, it was consistent. It didn't matter if it was 7-0 or, as we saw it get a little ugly towards the end, 40-0. Yeah. Gus Taylor, a lot of these guys still going like it was a first quarter game.
Yeah, and you saw the guys on the sideline in there cheering for the subs, right? Yeah. And I love to see that towards the end of the game.
Well, that's a good sign of a good team.
Yeah.
Who is the players of the game?
Yes, let's hear that.
Yeah, so our Pins player of the game, we're going to give it to the offensive line tonight for the execution that they did. You know, I think we called a lot of, they move those tackles, they move those guards from side to side, get out front and do the blocking. So Caleb Baker, Ryan Jarl, who, by the way, was our homecoming king tonight.
Big night for him.
Big night for him. David Rendy, Jacob Klingler, and Cole Stalter just played a great game. And something else I want to point out about those boys is that they are all on the honor roll, right? And coming out here and playing football is a good time. But, when you got to do business when you're in school. So I love to see that kind of stuff. And a shout out to Coach Crispin for the job that he's done with those young men.
Absolutely. And, I hate to admit it, but it was always the linemen that were the smartest back in the day when I played too.
We kept the team grade point average up.
That's true, absolutely.
It was yours.
It might have been under 3, but we'll call it above 2.5. And then, so that's for our offense. And what were we thinking for defensive, our tough guys tonight?
So on the defense, again, Walled Lake Central had a hard time getting back to the line of scrimmage. So we got to go with the defensive line. I throw the outside linebackers in there because of the way we play them on the line. Jesse Powell in on 5 tackles, Michael Gassner in on 3, Mitch Hanna in on 5, Gus Taylor in on 3, and Darian Minerich in on 2.
Yeah.
I mean, what an incredible job those guys
And the rest
did.
were gang tackles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and even mentioning right before we went on here in the post game, I mean, Gus Taylor, a sophomore, by the way, which I find that hard to believe based on the size of the young man, right? But even late in the game, Walled Lake Central's got to go to the air, and he's getting his hands up even when he can't get there and just knocking down passes, just swatting them down, SWAT City. So great job by both of the interior lines and the outside linebackers tonight. A great team effort again here in week 6. The Lions clinched their playoff spot, and one of few teams in this community that have ever started out 6-0. Taking a look ahead, we go on the road to Waterford Mott next week. Then we're back home against Walled Lake Western, and then we're on the road at South Lyon East. I think these are 3 really big character, almost like playoff-like atmosphere games for this team that I think we have a pretty good idea of where this team's at right now with the JV team that's only lost 1 game ever, and the influx that they've had on the mentality of this team and the coaching staff. These next 3 games is going to be really telling on where we're at towards this playoff run. I think it's going to be a really interesting stretch home run here for the Lions.
Oh yeah, it really will. They're all 3 playoff teams.
I would agree.
They haven't clinched because each of them had a loss.
Right.
But that doesn't take away the quality of those teams and their abilities. So it's going to be a really tough schedule for us, and we'll have to take them 1 game at a time.
That's right.
It's the best way to do that.
I was going to say it's conceivable by the time we play East, they may be desperate to win to make the playoffs.
That's true.
Because they're 4. It looks like they're going to make it to 4-2 tonight, but they've got games to go yet too, and it could be that is a huge more than the rivalry itself.
Right. No, exactly. Really, I know. Try not to get ahead of ourselves here, but really, like we said, each and every week, these next 3 weeks, it's going to be a playoff-like atmosphere. The weather's turning, and if you haven't been fired up for this team yet, you will be for the final 3 weeks. So, with that being said, thank you again for everyone joining us tonight. For Brian McPhee, Mr. Paul Zarate, Mr. Ted Wallace, I'm Dan Pelchat, Matt Boyer on camera. Remember, folks, it's a great day to be living in America, and we will see you next week at Waterford Mott High School.